Hello there, and welcome to the Boring Universe channel. Take a moment to settle in, letting your shoulders soften and your breath slow down. Tonight, we're drifting into a gentle story about light, the quiet traveler of the universe, and the vast distances called light years. Nothing to solve, nothing to remember. Just follow the glow as it moves calmly through space and time, and allow your mind to rest as the universe carries the journey for you. Before there were stars you could recognize, before planets had names, before distance meant anything at all, there was light learning how to move. In the earliest moments of the universe, everything was too dense, too crowded, too warm for light to travel freely. Photons were born, yes, but they could not go far. Every tiny step forward ended in another collision. Light existed, but it could not wander. Then, quietly, without announcement, the universe cooled, space stretched, matter loosened its grip, and suddenly, light was allowed to leave. This moment is called the time when the universe became transparent, but you can imagine it more gently, as if fog slowly lifted from an endless landscape, allowing the first rays to pass through unhindered. Light slipped forward for the first time, not knowing it would never stop. That ancient light is still here. It fills all of space, faint and soft, a gentle background glow left over from the universe's first breath. It passes through you right now, unnoticed, ancient, beyond imagination, older than stars, older than galaxies. Light does not remember where it began. Once released, it moves at the same speed forever, not faster, not slower. The universe has a rule, and light follows it perfectly. This speed is not just a number, it is the ultimate limit of how quickly cause and effect can travel. Nothing outruns it, nothing overtakes it. Light defines what now means. If something happens too far away, it cannot affect you yet, no matter how dramatic it is. The information simply has not arrived. The universe enforces patience through distance. A single second of light's travel carries it nearly 300,000 kilometers. In that time, it could loop around Earth more than 7 times. But space does not feel crowded to light. It is mostly empty, vast, silent, forgiving. Between stars, there is more nothing than something. Light glides through that nothing effortlessly. As light moves, it does not experience time. From its own strange perspective, departure and arrival are the same instant. There is no journey, no waiting, no duration. But for everything else, the waiting matters. When light leaves the sun, Earth does not see it immediately. 8 minutes pass. 8 minutes where the sun already exists somewhere else in its own ongoing story. 8 minutes where Earth is still living in the past. If the sun were to fade away right now, the sky would not know. Day would continue calmly, birds would still fly, shadows would still form. Only after 8 quiet minutes would the truth arrive. Light delays reality. This delay grows with distance. A light year is simply how far light travels in 1 year of uninterrupted motion. It is not poetic by design, it is practical. Astronomers needed a way to describe distances so large that ordinary units became meaningless. Kilometers break down when the numbers grow too long. Light years keep things honest. 1 light year is almost 10 trillion kilometers. Written out, the number looks unreal, like a mistake that refuses correction. And yet, even this is modest in the universe's scale. Our galaxy alone is about 100,000 light years wide. Light leaving one edge of it will still be traveling long after civilizations rise and fall on the other. The stars you see in the night sky are not arranged neatly in the present. They are layered in time. Some are nearby, their light fresh and young. Others are distant, their light ancient and fragile. You are looking through history. Some of the stars overhead no longer exist. They burned their fuel, collapsed, or exploded thousands or millions of years ago. But their light is still on its way. It does not know the source has changed. Light is loyal to its path, not its origin. This means the universe is filled with ghosts, not in a frightening way, but in a quiet, factual sense. After images traveling endlessly, carrying information from moments that no longer exist. Even the light reflecting off Earth tonight will eventually drift into interstellar space. It will pass the orbit of Pluto, then the scattered dust beyond, then the outer boundary where the sun's influence weakens and releases it. After that, Earth's light becomes just another traveler. It will carry the faint glow of oceans, the flicker of city lights, the gentle reflection of clouds, long after no one is left to notice. Somewhere far away, unimaginably far in the future, that light may brush against dust, or gas, or nothing at all. It may pass through empty regions larger than entire galaxies. Light does not seek destinations. It simply moves. Because of light's speed limit, the universe is divided into horizons, regions too far away for their light to ever reach us. Not because they are hidden, but because time itself is not long enough. There are places that exist right now whose stories will never arrive here. Their light will always be on the way, but space expands faster than it can cross the gap. They are not gone, just unreachable. This makes the universe feel vast, but also intimate. Everything you can see is everything that has had time to speak to you. Light is conversation. Each photon carries a tiny message, a temperature, a motion, a chemical fingerprint. Astronomers read these messages the way geologists read layers of rock. By studying light, they learn what stars are made of, how fast galaxies move, how old the universe is, all without touching anything. Light is the universe explaining itself. As your breathing slows further, notice how nothing about this is urgent. Light has been traveling for billions of years. It is not concerned with speed, even though it defines it. It does not rush. It does not hesitate. It simply continues. And while you rest here, still and quiet, the universe moves gently around you, carrying messages across time, preserving moments, letting the past arrive slowly, exactly when it is allowed to. You do not need to follow it. Light will handle the journey on its own. Light keeps moving, and so does the story. You remain still, while distance quietly turns into time. A light year sounds like a place, but it is really a memory stretched across space. When light leaves a star 1 light year away, it carries a full year of delay with it. By the time it reaches you, that star has already lived 12 more months somewhere else. Nothing in the universe arrives instantly. This means every direction you look is layered with different moments. Nearby objects speak almost in real time. Distant ones whisper from deep history. The sky is not a single now. It is a mosaic of then. When astronomers point their telescopes outward, they are not looking across space so much as they are looking backward through time. Each additional light year is another year peeled away. Each deeper image is an older universe. A galaxy 10 million light years away shows itself as it was 10 million years ago, back when Earth had no humans, when forests were different, when continents sat in other shapes. Go farther, and you see galaxies before planets like Earth existed at all. Go farther still, and stars appear younger, brighter, simpler. The universe itself looks unfamiliar. Light years turn telescopes into time machines. This is not science fiction. It is quiet geometry. Distance multiplied by patience. Because light has a maximum speed, the universe preserves its own history. Nothing can erase it quickly. Every event sends its echo outward at a steady pace, unable to rush or hide. When a star explodes, the explosion does not happen everywhere at once. It happens locally, and then the information spreads. For years, centuries, or millennia, that light travels outward, carrying news of the event to distant places. Somewhere right now, far beyond our reach, ancient light from Earth is just arriving. It may be brushing past alien suns, passing through clouds of gas, sliding between galaxies. It carries no awareness of who made it. Light years also protect us. If something dramatic happens far away, it cannot reach us immediately. The universe gives distance the power to soften events. By the time the information arrives, the moment itself is long gone. Even the most energetic events become quiet by the time their light reaches us. What arrives is not danger, but information. This is why the night sky feels calm. Most of what you see is ancient and settled. The urgency has already passed. The violence, if there ever was any, is long finished. What remains is light, thinned and cooled by distance. Inside a light year, time behaves normally. Days pass, years unfold, but between light years, time becomes layered, stacked, folded into space. The farther away something is, the further back you're seeing. There is no way around it. The universe enforces this rule gently, but absolutely. Even if you could travel instantly, your eyes would still obey light. This means the present moment is small. Your true now extends only as far as light has had time to travel since the last moment you updated your view. Everything beyond that is already history. And yet, that history is alive. It is moving toward you constantly. Light years are not empty gaps. They are filled with travelers, countless photons passing through dust, gas, magnetic fields, and silence. Most of space is empty, but not inactive. Light slides through it like a whisper that never fades. Some photons will never meet anything. They will travel forever, crossing expanding space, thinning as the universe stretches, their energy slowly shifting, their color drifting toward longer, softer wavelengths. Light ages gently. As the universe expands, light stretches with it. Waves grow longer, colors move toward red. This is called redshift, but it feels more like relaxation. Light lets go of its intensity as space opens up. This stretching is how scientists know the universe is growing. Distant galaxies show more stretched light, meaning they are farther away and older. Light years become rulers for expansion. When astronomers measure how much light has stretched, they learn how far it has traveled and how much space has grown along the way. Distance and time reveal each other. The universe leaves clues everywhere. Even the faintest glow carries information: temperature, motion, composition, direction. Light years preserve those clues perfectly until something interferes. Dust can scatter light. Gas can absorb certain colors. Gravity can bend paths. But even these interactions become part of the message. Light records everything it encounters. This is why studying light is enough to understand so much. You do not need to visit stars to know them. Their light has already visited you. It arrives patiently, exactly when it can. As you rest, Notice how this mirrors your own experience of time. You cannot rush tomorrow. You cannot pull the future closer. You receive moments only when they arrive. The universe works the same way. Light years teach patience on a cosmic scale. Nothing skips ahead. Nothing shortcuts distance. Everything unfolds at the pace allowed by space itself. Even your thoughts follow this rhythm now, slowing, spacing themselves out, leaving room between them. You do not need to chase understanding. Light will bring it to you. Somewhere tonight, a photon that left its star before humans existed is finishing its journey. It reaches a telescope or an eye, or passes quietly through space without notice. Its entire story arrives in a single instant. That is the strange gift of light years. Endless travel delivered all at once. And as you drift deeper into rest, the universe continues exactly as it always has, sending its past forward one photon at a time, slowly, gently, without ever stopping. Light continues, and the universe becomes stranger, not louder, not faster, just quieter in a different way. As things move closer to the speed of light, time itself begins to loosen. This is not a metaphor. It is a gentle rule written into reality. For something standing still, seconds pass normally. For something moving very fast, seconds stretch. Clocks slow. Processes soften. Time thins. Light lives at the extreme edge of this rule. From the point of view of light, there is no duration. The moment it is created is the same moment it arrives. The journey across millions of light years collapses into a single instant. But to the rest of the universe, that journey takes ages. This difference does not cause conflict. Reality allows both perspectives to exist quietly, side by side. If you could ride alongside a beam of light, not safely, not realistically, just imaginatively, you would not feel the distance pass. There would be no waiting, no motion, no passage of time. Space would compress, distances would flatten. The universe ahead and behind would fold into a thin slice. Light does not experience travel the way you do. This is why light years feel paradoxical. How can something take billions of years and also no time at all? The answer is that time depends on motion, and light moves at the maximum possible speed. As you approach that speed, the universe rearranges itself to keep the rules intact. Lengths shrink in the direction of travel. Time slows. Cause and effect remain consistent. Nothing breaks. Nothing rushes. Reality simply adjusts. This adjustment is why nothing with mass can reach the speed of light. It would require infinite energy. The closer something gets, the harder it becomes to go any faster. The universe protects its limit. Light is allowed because it has no mass. It does not carry weight. It does not resist acceleration. It exists already at the boundary. Everything else must stay below. This creates a gentle separation between what can arrive and what cannot, between what can be known now and what must wait. Light years enforce this separation beautifully. They ensure that events remain local before becoming universal. That change spreads gradually, that nothing overwhelms everything else instantly. Imagine a universe without this limit, where every event happened everywhere at once, where no delay existed, where the present crushed the past and future into a single blur. It would not be calm. The speed of light is not just fast, it is stabilizing. It gives the universe room to breathe. Because of it, stars can shine without immediately affecting everything else. Galaxies can evolve quietly. Planets can exist without constant interference. Light years create privacy. They allow places to have their own histories before sharing them. As you rest now, notice how similar this is to your own mind. Thoughts need space. Moments need distance. If everything arrived at once, rest would be impossible. The universe learned this early. When the first light escaped the dense fog of creation, it did not flood everywhere instantly. It spread slowly, patiently. That spreading created time as we understand it. Even now, the farthest light you can see comes from a time when the universe was young and simple. Galaxies smaller, structures looser. The rules already present, but the outcomes still unfolding. Light years allow us to witness growth without interfering. They let the universe show us its childhood without rushing its adulthood. When astronomers study the most distant light, they are not just measuring distance. They are touching the early universe gently without disturbing it. Light brings the past forward intact. As space expands, the journey grows longer. Some light will never arrive. It will travel forever, stretched thinner and thinner, its message fading, but never fully disappearing. Those photons still exist. They are just too diluted to notice. The universe does not erase, it disperses. Light years teach us that nothing truly vanishes. It only spreads beyond easy reach. Even now, light from the earliest stars is still moving. Those stars burned briefly, then disappeared. But their light continues, carrying evidence that they were once here. Existence leaves trails, and those trails move at the speed of light. As your breathing slows further, allow this idea to settle without effort. You do not need to understand it fully. The universe does not demand comprehension. It only offers patterns. Light years are one of those patterns, a way to measure patience, a way to honor delay, a way to keep the universe gentle. Nothing arrives before it is ready. Nothing leaves without leaving a trace. And somewhere, light from this very moment has already begun its quiet departure, carrying the shape of this room, the warmth of this planet, the faint glow of a thinking mind drifting toward rest. It will not hurry. It will not return. It will simply go, just like the universe intended. Light keeps traveling, but space itself begins to stretch faster than it can follow. There is a limit to what you can see, not because the universe ends, but because time does. This boundary is called the observable universe, though it sounds more dramatic than it feels. It is simply the region of space from which light has had enough time to reach you since the beginning of everything. Beyond it, the universe may continue endlessly. Galaxies may still form, stars may still glow, but their light is too far away, still on the way, still waiting. The observable universe is not a wall, it is a horizon, like standing on a beach and watching the ocean curve away. The water does not stop. Your view does. The light reaching you from the farthest edge began its journey nearly 14 billion years ago. It started when the universe was young, hot, and simple. Before stars, before galaxies, before structure, that light has been traveling ever since. But here is the quiet surprise. Even though the universe is about 14 billion years old, the observable universe is much larger than 14 billion light years across. This is because space itself expanded while the light was traveling. The destination moved away. Light left when everything was closer together. As it moved, the space between points stretched, gently but relentlessly. By the time the light arrived, the distance it had crossed had grown far larger than expected. So, the observable universe today spans about 93 billion light years. Not because light moved faster, but because space kept opening. Light does not resist this expansion. It stretches with it. Its wavelength grows longer. Its energy softens. Ancient light becomes colder, quieter, almost invisible. That earliest light still fills the universe as a faint background glow. It is everywhere, passing through you now. A whisper from the first moments, cooled to near silence. This glow is not bright. It does not shine. It hums. It tells us the universe remembers its beginning. Beyond the observable horizon, light will never arrive. Not because it is forbidden, but because expansion carries those regions away faster than light can cross the gap. This is not tragic. It is simply geometry unfolding. Those places are not lost. They are just separate. The universe allows many stories to happen without needing to share them all. This makes the observable universe feel intimate. Everything you can ever see has had time to reach you. Everything you cannot see is not hiding. It is just too patient. As time passes, the horizon changes. Some galaxies drift beyond it. Their light becomes too stretched, too delayed. They fade gently, not suddenly. One day, they are visible. Later, they are not. The universe does not close doors. It lets them drift out of reach. In the far future, the night sky will grow emptier. Not because stars die, but because light cannot keep up with expansion. Each distant galaxy will quietly slip away. Observers in that future will see only their local group of stars. Everything else will have faded beyond their horizon. They may never know how vast the universe truly is, not because knowledge was taken from them, but because time changed what could be known. Light years define not just distance, but opportunity. They tell you what you are allowed to see based on when you exist. You live at a moment when the universe is still visible, when ancient light still reaches you, when the sky is rich with history. This is not guaranteed forever. As you rest now, imagine the universe slowly dimming over unimaginable spans of time. Not dark, just simpler, quieter. Light still travels. It just has fewer places to arrive. And yet, even then, nothing is wasted. Photons continue moving, stretched thin but persistent. They pass through expanding space like gentle memories, never erased, only softened. The universe does not forget itself. Even beyond horizons, events still happen. They just happen privately. Light years give each region its own pace, its own unfolding, its own calm. The observable universe is not the universe itself. It is only the portion that has had time to speak to you. Everything you see tonight is part of that conversation. Stars overhead are not shouting. They are murmuring from the past. Each point of light, a message delayed by distance, delivered exactly when it could be. As your thoughts slow, notice how comforting this is. Nothing demands immediate attention. Nothing arrives without warning. Everything comes when it is ready. Light years teach this lesson without words. They show that waiting is built into reality, that patience is not a flaw, but a feature of existence. And as you drift closer to sleep, remember this: the universe is not rushing away from you. It is expanding gently, making room for time. Light will continue traveling long after this moment ends, carrying fragments of now into futures that cannot yet be imagined. Quietly, faithfully, at the only speed it knows. Light keeps moving, and memory moves with it. The universe does not have a mind, yet it remembers everything, not in thoughts, not in stories, but in light. Every event releases light. Every motion leaves an imprint. Every moment sends a signal outward, carried patiently across space. Light is how the universe keeps its past from disappearing. When a star shines, it is not only producing warmth, it is recording itself, its temperature, its motion, its age, its chemistry, all of it written into the light that leaves its surface. That light carries the signature of the star wherever it goes. Even when the star changes, the old versions remain, traveling outward forever. There are countless versions of the universe moving through space right now. The universe as it was a second ago, 1,000 years ago, 1,000,000,000 years ago, each preserved in light, each drifting outward like expanding rings on water. Nothing erases them. Light does not overwrite the past, it archives it. This means the universe is filled with memories that have not yet been read. Photons carrying stories that will never be noticed, never absorbed, never decoded, still valid, still complete. Most of the universe's memory will never be observed, and that is okay. Memory does not require an audience. Light years turn memory into distance. The farther something is, the older the memory you receive. The closer it is, the fresher the information. This is why the nearby universe feels alive and active, while the distant universe feels calm and settled. What you see far away has already finished happening. The drama, if there was any, is long over. What remains is light, softened by time. When astronomers study distant galaxies, they are not seeing them grow old. They are seeing them grow young. Each step farther back reveals earlier stages, simpler shapes, brighter stars, faster formation. Light remembers youth. It also remembers endings. When stars exhaust their fuel, they change quietly or dramatically. But either way, light carries the record outward. Even if the star becomes something else, its earlier self continues traveling. Somewhere in the universe, light from stars that no longer exist is still shining. Not as energy, but as information. Those stars are gone, but not forgotten. Light does not judge importance. It records everything equally. A supernova and a gentle glow are treated the same. Both send photons outward. Both become part of the universe's memory. Even silence is recorded. Empty space carries light too. Passing through nothing leaves a record of nothingness. The absence of interaction becomes part of the message. This is how scientists learn about the spaces between galaxies, by reading how light changes or does not change as it travels. Nothing touches light without leaving a trace. This makes light honest. It cannot lie about where it has been. Dust leaves fingerprints. Gas removes colors. Gravity bends paths. Motion stretches wavelengths. Every interaction becomes part of the story. Light arrives, carrying all of it. As you rest now, consider how this mirrors your own memory. Moments pass, but traces remain. Not everything is remembered consciously, yet nothing truly disappears. The universe works the same way. Light years ensure that memory spreads gently, not all at once. They prevent the past from overwhelming the present. They allow moments to fade naturally as they move farther away. This fading is not loss. It is dilution. Light spreads out. Its energy thins. Its brightness weakens, but its existence remains. The oldest light in the universe is still here. It fills space evenly, faint and cold, a background whisper from the beginning. It remembers a time when everything was close, hot and new. That memory passes through you now. You are briefly intersecting with ancient photons that have traveled for nearly the entire age of the universe. They do not notice. They simply pass through. And then they continue. Your own presence also becomes memory. Light reflecting off you tonight has already begun its journey. It carries information about this room, this moment, this quiet pause. Long after this night ends, that light will still be traveling. It will carry the shape of shadows, the tone of colors, the calm stillness of now. It does not know what it carries. It does not need to. Light years ensure that no moment is truly confined to where it happened. Everything expands outward, becoming part of a larger story. The universe does not need archives. It does not need storage. It remembers by allowing light to move freely. Nothing is locked away. Everything is released. As your thoughts drift, notice how gentle this system is. No rush, no urgency, no demand to hold on. Memory spreads naturally. Forgetting happens through distance, not destruction. Light years teach us that letting go does not mean erasing. It means allowing things to move on. And so the universe remembers without effort. Every star that ever shone, every galaxy that ever formed, every quiet moment that ever happened. All of it still traveling. All of it still real. And as you sink deeper into rest, you do not need to remember anything at all. The universe is already doing that for you. Light keeps going, and the story softens even more. Imagine, gently, without effort, what it would be like to stop being heavy, not floating, not flying, just no longer carrying weight. To move at the speed of light is not to rush forward. It is to let go of distance entirely. For anything with mass, movement means effort. Muscles strain, engines burn, energy is spent to push against inertia. Time resists acceleration, slowing clocks the faster you go. But light does not push, it simply exists in motion. If you could become light, not physically, not realistically, just as an idea, you would not feel speed, you would not feel travel. There would be no sense of before or after. The moment of leaving would be the moment of arriving. Stars, galaxies, empty space, all of it would collapse into a single instant. The universe would appear flat, compressed, without depth, not because it is small, but because time has stopped stretching. For light, the universe has no duration. This is difficult to imagine because your mind is built around waiting. You know movement by change. You know travel by time passing. Light knows neither. It is always already there. And yet, from the outside, light's journey looks long, millions of years, billions of kilometers, endless darkness between brief encounters. Both views are true. Reality does not choose one perspective. It allows many. This is one of the quiet beauties of the universe. It does not demand a single way to experience it. Light experiences everything instantly. You experience light slowly. Neither is wrong. Light years exist because of this difference. They are bridges between perspectives. They allow events to be both immediate and delayed, depending on where you stand. If you were light, you would not feel old or young. You would not experience age. Creation and absorption would be the same moment. Light does not grow tired. It does not accumulate history. It does not remember its own past. It simply moves. And because of that, it becomes memory for everything else. As you rest now, imagine releasing your sense of urgency. Let time stretch the way it does for slow things. Let moments arrive without being pulled closer. You are allowed to move slowly. The universe is designed for that. Only light is asked to hurry. And even then, it does not feel like hurrying at all. When light passes near massive objects, space curves. Paths bend gently, not sharply, not suddenly, just enough to notice. Even light listens to gravity, but it never stops. It slides along the curves of space like water following a landscape, not resisting, not fighting, just adapting. If you were light, obstacles would not feel like barriers. They would feel like guidance, a suggestion of direction, not a command. This is why light can circle galaxies, skim black holes, and still continue on its way. It is influenced, but never trapped forever. Even near the most extreme objects, light tries to escape. Only in rare places does space curve so deeply that even light cannot leave. Everywhere else, it flows onward. Light does not panic at these bends. It does not anticipate danger. It simply follows the shape of space. There is something deeply calming about that. No planning, no fear, no hesitation. Just motion that feels like stillness from within. As you drift closer to sleep, imagine your thoughts doing the same. No pushing, no chasing, just following the gentle curves of attention wherever they lead. You do not need to become light, but you can borrow its calm. Light never asks how long the journey will be. It never wonders where it will end. It never tries to remember where it began. It moves because that is what it does, and the universe is built to receive it. Somewhere far away, perhaps unimaginably far, light from this very moment is already arriving. For that light, the journey is complete. For you, time continues, and that is okay. You are allowed to rest inside time while light handles motion on your behalf. The universe does not expect you to keep up. It only asks that you exist where you are, breathing, still, present. Light will take care of the rest. Light keeps moving, even as the universe slowly changes its mood. Nothing dramatic happens all at once. No sudden turning points. Just a long, gradual softening. The future of the universe is not loud. It is not fast. It is not rushed. It unfolds the way light does, steadily, patiently, without urgency. As time stretches forward, light years grow longer in meaning, not because light slows down, but because space continues to expand. Each year, every distance becomes slightly larger than it was before. Galaxies drift away from one another, carried by the gentle stretching of space itself. They are not racing. They are simply being given more room. Light follows them, always trying to cross the growing gaps. Some light succeeds, some never will. In the far future, fewer and fewer distant galaxies will remain visible. Their light will be stretched so thin, so red, so quiet, that it fades into the background of space. Not gone, just unreachable. The sky will not go dark suddenly. It will simplify. Where there were once countless points of light, there will be fewer. Local stars will remain. Nearby galaxies will linger. Everything else will slowly slip beyond the horizon of time. Light years become barriers then, not walls, but distances that can no longer be crossed. This is not loss in a human sense. It is a natural narrowing of what can be seen. The universe does not promise eternal visibility. It promises continuity. Stars will continue to form for a long time yet. New light will be created. New photons will begin their journeys. But eventually, even star formation will slow, gas will thin, materials will spread out. The easy energy will be used up. When that happens, the universe will grow quieter still. But light will not stop. Even when stars fade, there will still be faint glows, warm remnants, slow processes releasing photons over immense spans of time. Light years in that era will feel enormous. Distances will be vast and events rare, but the rules will remain the same. Light moves, space expands, time stretches, nothing collapses into chaos. The universe prefers patience. If someone were there in that distant future, looking up at the sky, it might appear calm beyond description. A few nearby stars, a dark, open expanse beyond. They might think the universe is small. They would not be wrong from where they stand. Light years define reality differently depending on when you exist. You live in a time when the universe is busy, when stars still shine brightly, when distant galaxies still send their stories across space. This era is rich with information. The universe is still talking. Later, it will speak more softly. But even then, light will continue carrying the past forward, even if no one is listening. Because light does not require meaning to exist. It does not need to be seen. It does not need to arrive. It simply goes. As you rest now, let the idea of a quiet future feel peaceful rather than empty. Stillness does not mean absence. Silence does not mean nothingness. It means space has room to breathe. The universe is not heading toward an ending. It is heading toward rest, a long, slow rest, measured in light years and patience. And just as you are allowed to fall asleep without finishing every thought, the universe is allowed to slow down without completing every possibility. Nothing is unfinished. Everything simply moves farther apart. Light years stretch, but light adapts. It always does. Even in a future where stars are rare and distance is immense, light will still connect what exists. It will still carry information. It will still preserve moments. The universe never forgets how to communicate. It just whispers instead of speaking loudly. And as your breathing becomes slower, deeper, steadier, notice how natural this feels. The idea of quiet, of space, of time unfolding without pressure. You do not need to witness the future. You are already part of it. Light from this moment is already traveling there. It carries no urgency, no fear, no demand, just presence. And that is enough. Light keeps moving, but its surroundings grow quieter, not empty, just wide. There may come a time when the universe feels almost still, not frozen, not finished, simply spread so thin that motion becomes gentle and rare. In that future, light years will feel immense, not because light has changed, but because space has learned how to stretch without resistance. Distances will be so large that even nearby things feel far apart. A single light year will no longer feel like a step between neighbors, but like an ocean between islands. And yet, light will continue. It always does. Even when there are fewer stars to create it, even when galaxies drift alone in vast regions of nothing, light will still be present. Old photons released long ago will still be traveling. They will pass through emptiness so deep that it feels timeless. Light does not become bored in emptiness. It does not become lonely. It does not ask for destinations. It is content with motion itself. In such a universe, most light will never arrive anywhere. It will not be absorbed by stars or planets. It will not be seen by eyes or instruments. It will simply move through space that keeps opening ahead of it. This does not make the journey meaningless. Meaning is something observers add. Light does not require it. A photon traveling forever without being noticed is still a complete existence. It began, it moves, it continues. That is enough. Light years in this era are not measures of connection, but of freedom. They represent how much room the universe has given itself. The cosmos does not crowd its contents, it lets them drift. Imagine floating in an ocean so vast that waves barely reach you. The water is still there. The motion is just slow. The future universe will feel like that. Light will still ripple through it, but the ripples will be wide and gentle. Even gravity will relax. Structures will thin. The strong bindings of galaxies will slowly loosen. Everything will become simpler, quieter, more evenly spread. This is not decay, it is balance. The universe does not seek complexity forever, it seeks calm. Light is the perfect companion for this long settling. It requires no fuel once created. It does not age in the way matter does. It does not wear out. It just goes. As your mind rests now, notice how comforting this idea can be. A future that does not rush, a universe that does not demand constant activity. Stillness is not failure. It is a state. Light years remind us that vastness can be gentle, that distance can be peaceful, that nothing needs to be close to be real. Even now, space between galaxies is already enormous. You're simply living in a time when enough light still crosses it to keep the sky busy. Later, that busyness will soften. Stars will shine for a long time yet. Then they will fade. Then remnants will glow faintly. Then even those glows will thin. But light will still be there. Long after stars stop forming, long after galaxies drift apart, photons from ancient times will still be crossing the universe. They will not hurry to arrive. There will be no urgency left. They will move because motion is what they are. Light with nowhere to go is still light. This is an important thought to let settle. Purpose does not require destinations. Existence does not require witnesses. Movement does not require goals. The universe understands this deeply. That is why it allows light to travel endlessly, even when there is nothing left to receive it. As you drift closer to sleep, let this idea mirror your own rest. You do not need to achieve anything tonight. You do not need to arrive anywhere. You can simply exist in motionless comfort. Time will pass whether you push it or not. The universe will continue whether you watch it or not. Light will move whether anyone cares or not. And that is not sad. It is peaceful. In a universe that once burned bright with beginnings, that once rushed with formation and change, there is dignity in a slow quieting. Light years will stretch longer and longer, but light will adapt. It always does. And just as light does not fear endless travel, you do not need to fear rest. Nothing is being lost. Everything is just spreading out. And somewhere far away, or perhaps nowhere at all, light from this moment is already complete. For it, the journey is over. For you, sleep is close. Light keeps moving, but the idea of distance becomes softer. There is a common thought that light can go forever, that once released, it will travel endlessly across the universe without limit. This is almost true, but not in the way it first sounds. Light can travel forever in time, but not forever in reach. Because while light moves forward at a constant speed, space itself is quietly expanding beneath it. Not like an explosion, not like a push, more like a slow, steady opening. And this opening changes what forever means. There are places light will never reach, not because it stops, but because the space between keeps growing faster than light can cross it. Each second, the destination moves slightly farther away. Light runs, but the path stretches. This does not defeat light. It simply defines its limits. The universe is not a single connected space. It is a collection of regions that were once close enough to exchange light, and regions that never were. Light years draw these boundaries gently. From your position, there is a sphere of space that can affect you. Everything inside it has had time to send light. Everything outside it has not. This sphere grows, but slowly, and beyond a certain distance, expansion wins. Those far regions are not unreachable because they are far away. They are unreachable because time itself is not long enough. This gives the universe a sense of privacy. Not everything must be known by everything else. Light respects that. It does not force connection. It offers it when allowed. When a photon is released, it does not know whether it will ever arrive anywhere meaningful. It does not know if it will be absorbed, scattered, or stretched into near silence. It moves anyway. Some photons will cross galaxies, some will cross nothing at all, some will wander until space becomes too wide to ever meet another particle. All of these outcomes are equally complete. Light does not measure success by arrival, it measures existence by motion. As time goes on, more regions of the universe will drift beyond one another's reach. The visible will shrink. The invisible will grow, not suddenly, not dramatically, but steadily. And yet, within each region, life, if it exists, will still see a universe that feels whole. Their observable sky will still make sense. Their light years will still be meaningful. The universe does not need to be fully connected to be complete. It only needs local coherence. Light years ensure that each region has its own story, unfolding at its own pace. This is a calming truth. You do not need to know everything to be part of everything. The universe agrees. Even now, as you rest, there are places whose light will never reach Earth. Their stars shine for themselves. Their galaxies turn quietly. Their histories unfold without witnesses. That does not make them less real. It makes them free. Light travels as far as it can, and then it continues anyway, even if no destination remains reachable. This is not failure. It is acceptance, built into physics. The universe allows effort without guaranteed reward. And still, light moves. As your thoughts slow, consider how this idea can settle inside you. You're not required to reach every outcome. You're not required to arrive everywhere you imagine. You're allowed to exist fully within the region you occupy. Light years remind us that boundaries are natural. Horizons are not punishments. Limits are not errors. They are features that make gentleness possible. If everything touched everything instantly, nothing would have space to breathe. The speed of light and the growth of space protect the universe from overwhelm. They create pauses. They create distance. They create rest. Even the farthest traveling light does not rush. It moves at a constant pace, never faster, never slower. It accepts the shape of space as it finds it. There is no struggle in that, just continuation. And so, the calm truth is this: light can go forever in time, but not everywhere in space. The universe allows journeys without destinations, and existence does not require arrival. As you drift closer to sleep, let this idea rest gently in your mind. You do not need to reach the edges of anything tonight. You are already where you are meant to be. Light from this moment is already moving outward, doing its quiet work. You can let it go. Light continues its journey, and safety quietly emerges from distance. At first, light years sound isolating, vast gaps, long delays, endless space between one place and another. But in truth, light years are one of the universe's greatest comforts. They are what make the universe gentle. Because of light years, nothing arrives all at once. No change overwhelms everything instantly. Every event is given space, time, and distance before it becomes known elsewhere. This creates a natural calm. Imagine if every star, every movement, every change in the universe were felt everywhere immediately. There would be no quiet, no privacy, no stillness. The speed of light prevents that. Light years slow the spread of information just enough to keep reality stable. They allow regions of space to live their own lives without constant interruption. The universe does not shout, it whispers, and it whispers slowly. When something changes far away, it takes time for that change to matter to you. By the time the information arrives, it has cooled, it has softened, it has lost any urgency it once had. What reaches you is not danger, it is history. This is why the night sky feels peaceful instead of threatening. The stars you see are not active hazards. They are stories that have already finished telling themselves. Light years turn chaos into calm. They transform energetic events into quiet signals. They give the universe time to settle between moments. Even within galaxies, light years provide space. Stars are not crowded together. Planets are not packed tightly. Distances allow systems to remain stable for billions of years. If everything were closer, gravity would pull too strongly. Orbits would collapse. Structures would not last. Light years create balance. They ensure that forces have room to fade, that interactions are rare enough to be gentle. That change happens gradually. This makes long-term existence possible. Your own planet depends on this distance. Earth is far enough from the sun to receive warmth without being consumed. The moon is far enough to stabilize rotation without tearing the planet apart. Distance is not emptiness, it is protection. Light years extend that protection across the cosmos. Even expansion itself is made calm by distance. As space grows, it does not rip things apart violently. It stretches gently, allowing bound systems to remain intact. Galaxies stay together. Solar systems remain stable. Life, if it arises, is given time. The universe is not built for sudden endings. It is built for slow transitions. Light years are the mechanism that allows this. They ensure that the universe evolves without shock. That information flows at a pace reality can absorb. As you rest now, notice how this mirrors your own need for space. Too much information at once overwhelms the mind. Too many demands create stress. The universe solved this problem at its foundation. It placed a speed limit on reality. Because of that limit, everything has room to breathe. Light years make the universe feel large, but they also make it feel safe. They mean nothing unexpected arrives without warning. They mean change always comes delayed, softened by distance. Even the most powerful events become gentle by the time they reach you. This is not weakness, it is design. A universe without light years would be sharp and chaotic. A universe with them is slow and survivable. As your thoughts quiet further, let this sense of safety settle. You're not surrounded by immediate threats. You're surrounded by old light. Everything you see has already happened. Everything that could affect you soon is already close. The universe is not hiding surprises just beyond your sight. Distance makes sure of that. Light years are a promise. Nothing reaches you before it is ready, and so you can rest. Light is doing what it has always done, moving steadily, carrying stories, respecting distance. You do not need to watch it. You do not need to follow it. You are held inside a universe that understands pacing, a universe that built calm into its structure. And tonight, that is enough. Light continues its patient work, and with it comes a quiet kind of comfort. Everything you see in the sky has already happened, not in a sad way, not in a distant way, but in a gentle, reassuring one. Seeing the past means the universe gives you time. When you look up at the stars, you're not witnessing surprises. You're receiving messages that have traveled long distances, softened by time and space. Whatever urgency they once carried has already faded. The universe does not confront you with the raw present. It offers you a calm record of what once was. This makes the sky feel steady. The past cannot suddenly change. It cannot rush toward you. It is fixed, complete, resolved. What you see has already found its ending. Light years transform uncertainty into reassurance. A star might still be shining, or it might be gone. But the light you see tonight is settled. It is finished business, delivered gently to your eyes. There is comfort in that. The universe does not demand immediate awareness. It does not insist that you keep up with everything happening now. It allows you to exist slightly behind, where things are quieter. Even the nearest stars speak with a delay. Even the sun takes time to reach you. Nothing is truly instantaneous. Reality always arrives softened. This delay gives space for reflection, for rest, for calm understanding. It prevents the present from overwhelming the mind. Light years make sure that you are never fully surrounded by the now. Instead, you are wrapped in layers of then. This is why the night sky feels contemplative rather than chaotic. You are looking at outcomes, not beginnings, at stories that have already unfolded, not ones still in motion. The universe offers you closure by default, and when astronomers study the sky, they are not chasing the present. They are reading a history written in light. They learn by accepting delay. This acceptance brings clarity. By seeing how things were, they understand how things become. Light years provide context. They allow patterns to emerge. Without distance, everything would be noise. With distance, everything becomes narrative. As you rest now, notice how your own thoughts behave similarly. The mind relaxes when it is not pressured by immediacy, when it can observe rather than react. The universe operates the same way. Light years allow observation without urgency. They ensure that by the time something reaches you, it is no longer demanding action. It is simply offering information. Even dramatic events arrive as quiet data. A star's final moments become a faint glow. A collision becomes a subtle change in color. Everything is filtered through distance. Nothing arrives shouting. This makes the universe feel thoughtful. It does not push itself into your awareness. It waits patiently until you are ready to receive it. And if you are never ready, that is fine too. Light will continue regardless. There is no pressure in this system. The past is not chasing you. The future is not rushing you. The present is allowed to be small. Light years compress the universe's vastness into manageable pieces. They break infinity into readable segments, one photon at a time. As you drift deeper into rest, let this idea settle. It is okay to be slightly behind. It is okay to receive life gently, delayed, filtered. The universe does not expect immediacy. It expects patience. And it rewards patience with calm understanding. Even now, as you breathe slowly, you are experiencing the universe as it intends, not all at once, not urgently, but gradually. Light is still arriving from countless places, each photon carrying a moment that has already completed itself. Nothing unfinished is reaching you. That is the strange comfort of seeing the past. It means the universe trusts you with its memories, not its emergencies. And tonight, that trust allows you to rest. Light continues to drift outward, and with it comes space, not just empty space, but breathing room. One of the quiet wonders of the universe is how uncrowded it feels. Stars shine without bumping into one another. Galaxies spin without colliding constantly. Even in the busiest regions of space, there is more room than you can easily imagine. Light years are the reason. Distance is not an accident. It is a stabilizing feature woven into the universe from the beginning. Without vast separations, gravity would pull too strongly, interactions would be too frequent, and nothing would last very long. Light years give everything permission to exist without interference. Inside a galaxy, stars are separated by many light years. Even though galaxies contain hundreds of billions of stars, the space between them is immense. You could travel for years at the speed of light and pass nothing at all. This emptiness is not wasted. It is protective. Because stars are far apart, their gravitational fields do not tear one another apart. Their planets can maintain steady orbits. Their light can travel freely without constant disruption. Crowding would create chaos. Distance creates calm. Light years ensure that even large systems remain gentle. A galaxy looks dense from afar, but from within, it is spacious and quiet. Night skies are mostly dark, not because there are few stars, but because they are wisely spaced. The universe values room. As space expands, this spacing increases. Galaxies move farther apart. Interactions become rarer. Over time, the universe grows even less crowded than it already is. This is not a loss of richness. It is a preservation of stability. When things are too close, change becomes violent. When things are far enough apart, change becomes slow. Light years slow everything down. They allow stars to live long lives. They allow galaxies to evolve without constant disturbance. They allow the universe to explore complexity without destroying it. Even collisions, when they do happen, take place over millions of years. Two galaxies passing through one another do not crash like solid objects. Their stars mostly miss each other entirely. Distance softens everything. As you rest now, imagine how different this is from crowded spaces on Earth. Noise increases, tension rises, movement becomes hurried. The universe avoids this. It builds spaciousness into its design. Light years are the universe's way of saying, there is no need to rush, no need to press together, no need to compete for space. Everything has room to be. Even light itself benefits from this openness. It travels long stretches without interruption, without scattering, without losing its direction. Space allows messages to remain clear. If the universe were crowded, light would be constantly blocked, absorbed, confused. Information would blur. Distance preserves clarity. This is why the universe can be understood at all, why patterns remain readable, why ancient light still arrives intact. Light years are not emptiness, they are order. They create silence between notes, allowing the melody to exist. As your breathing slows, notice how comforting spaciousness can feel. You do not need to fill every moment. You do not need to crowd your thoughts together. The universe does not. It leaves gaps on purpose. Those gaps are where calm lives. Even time is spaced by light years. Events far apart do not overlap in your awareness. They arrive one at a time, gently separated by distance. Nothing overwhelms everything else. This makes rest possible. For stars, for galaxies, and for you. Light continues to move through this spacious universe, never pressed, never hurried, never blocked. And you are allowed to rest within that same generous design. Light keeps traveling, and motion becomes something gentle and strange. From where you are, the universe looks busy. Stars appear fixed. Galaxies seem to drift slowly. The sky feels stable, almost unmoving. And yet, nothing is truly still. Everything is in motion. Planets orbit stars, stars orbit galactic centers, galaxies drift through clusters, clusters slide along immense structures of dark matter. Space itself expands beneath it all. But because of light years, none of this feels rushed. Motion is softened by distance. When something moves far away, you do not see it move in real time. You see a delayed version stretched across light years. Fast motions become slow. Sudden changes become gradual. Light years turn speed into calm. A star can race around its galaxy at hundreds of kilometers per second, yet to your eyes, it barely shifts over thousands of years. Entire galaxies can collide, yet the process appears smooth and stately, unfolding over millions of years. This creates an illusion of stillness. The universe is not slow, it is distant. Light years act like a gentle filter, converting motion into patience. They allow enormous speeds to exist without feeling overwhelming. Even the expansion of the universe itself feels subtle because of this. Space is growing everywhere, all the time, but the growth is distributed so evenly, so gently, that it does not feel like movement at all. You're not being pulled. You're not being pushed. You're simply carried. Light years hide the mechanics. They make the universe feel serene, even though it is constantly changing. If light traveled infinitely fast, you would witness motion without delay. Stars would jitter, galaxies would shift visibly, the sky would feel restless. But light does not allow that. It insists on delay. It insists on distance. It insists on calm. This makes the universe readable. Motion becomes something you can study rather than something that disturbs you. Patterns emerge, orbits repeat, structures hold their shapes. Light years are why the sky feels trustworthy. As you rest now, notice how this illusion of stillness helps you relax. You're not confronted with constant change. You're allowed to experience the universe as stable. The mind needs this. Too much visible motion creates unease. Too much change creates tension. The universe avoids this by placing most of its activity far away. Distance is a kindness. Even on Earth, this principle appears. Mountains move, but slowly. Continents drift, but imperceptibly. Change happens on timescales that allow life to adapt. The universe follows the same rule, scaled up. Light years ensure that most motion arrives softened, slowed, translated into something peaceful. Even time itself feels steadier because of this. You experience moments one after another, not all at once. The universe does the same. Light years sequence reality. They decide what arrives now and what must wait. Nothing is chaotic when it is properly spaced. As photons travel, they carry motion information with them. Doppler shifts reveal speed. Red shifts reveal expansion. But these signals are subtle, requiring careful attention to notice. The universe whispers its movement rather than announcing it. This whispering quality is why astronomy feels contemplative. Studying the sky does not feel like chasing action. It feels like listening to something vast, slow, and patient. As you breathe gently, imagine motion without urgency, change without pressure, progress without noise. This is how the universe moves. Light years make sure of it. They allow everything to flow without disturbing everything else. They ensure that motion remains beautiful rather than frightening. Nothing rushes toward you. Nothing collides with your awareness. Everything approaches at a pace you can absorb. This is the illusion of motion, not false, but softened. The universe is dynamic, yet calm, active, yet peaceful, always changing, yet never demanding your attention. Light years hold that balance. And as your thoughts slow further, you can let motion fade from awareness entirely. You do not need to follow it. You do not need to track it. The universe is moving well enough without your attention. You are allowed to be still. Light keeps traveling, and time itself begins to feel less solid. When you look into the universe, it does not feel old or young. It feels timeless, not frozen, not endless, simply unconcerned with age. Light years are the reason. Because light carries the past forward, time in the universe is never confined to a single moment. Different eras exist side by side, layered gently across space. Nearby stars speak from a recent past. Distant galaxies speak from deep history. The faintest glow speaks from the beginning of everything. All of it arrives together. This layering makes the universe feel outside of time. You are never seeing just one age. You are seeing many, blended calmly into a single sky. Light years dissolve the sharp edges of time. Instead of a clean division between past and present, there is a gradient. Moments fade into one another. Ages overlap softly. Nothing ends abruptly. Even events that happen billions of years apart can appear together in your field of view. A young star nearby and an ancient galaxy far away share the same moment in your perception. Time becomes spacious. This is why the universe feels eternal, even though it has an age. The past never fully leaves. It continues traveling, arriving slowly, remaining visible long after it has finished happening. Light years prevent time from closing behind itself. They keep history open. As space expands, this openness grows. The future stretches, the past lingers. The present becomes a narrow point between vast regions of memory and possibility. But you never feel crushed by this scale. Distance makes it gentle. If the entire history of the universe were visible at once, it would overwhelm. But light years distribute it. They break infinity into quiet, manageable pieces, one photon at a time. This is why the universe feels patient. It does not rush you through its story. It lets you read it slowly, line by line, light year by light year. Even time dilation near massive objects follows this calm rule. Clocks slow gently. Processes stretch. Nothing snaps. The universe prefers continuity over sharp transitions. Light years reinforce that preference everywhere. They ensure that nothing truly disappears. When something ends, its light continues. When something begins, its light spreads slowly. Beginnings and endings blur. A star that has long since faded may still shine in the sky. A galaxy that formed early may still appear young from far away. The universe allows things to be many things at once, old and young, gone and present, finished and arriving. This does not create confusion. It creates peace. There is no pressure to be current in the universe. There is no requirement to exist only in the now. The past is welcome. The future is allowed. The present is brief and gentle. As you rest now, feel how this timelessness softens your thoughts. There is no urgency to place yourself in time. No need to measure progress or delay. The universe does not ask, "When are you?" It simply receives you. Light years teach that time is not something to race through. It is something to drift across. Even the universe's own beginning remains visible. The faint background glow from the earliest moments still fills space, whispering quietly of a time before stars. The universe never closes its first chapter, and its final chapters, whatever they may be, will unfold just as gently. Light will carry those moments forward too, ensuring they never vanish completely. Timelessness is not absence of time. It is time stretched so wide that it loses its sharpness. Light years are what stretch it. They turn moments into landscapes. They turn years into distances. They turn change into something you can rest inside. As your breathing becomes slower, deeper, more even, let this idea settle without effort. You do not need to understand time tonight. You're allowed to step outside of it for a while. The universe does this naturally. Every night, sky is a reminder that time is not a narrow tunnel, but a wide field through which light drifts calmly. Nothing chases you. Nothing expires suddenly. Nothing demands immediacy. Everything simply arrives when it can. Light continues its journey, unhurried, unconcerned with clocks. And you, for this moment, are free to be just as timeless. Light keeps traveling, and the universe feels complete in its motion. There is nothing left for light to prove, no destination it must reach, no message it must deliver on time. Light simply continues. By now, you can imagine how many journeys are happening at once. Trillions upon trillions of photons moving through space, each one released in a different moment, from a different place, carrying a different memory. Some were born in the hearts of stars. Some reflected gently off planets. Some emerged from the faint warmth of ancient space itself. They do not compare their journeys. They do not compete. They do not hurry to arrive. They move because motion is what they are. The universe does not ask light to finish. It only asks it to persist. And so light travels through expanding space, passing through regions that grow quieter with time. Galaxies thin out. Stars become rarer. The glow of activity softens into long stretches of darkness. Not emptiness, just space that has learned how to rest. In this future, light years feel immense not because light is weakened, but because the universe has given itself room. Space opens like a slow breath, stretching gently outward, never snapping, never tearing. Light adapts without effort. Its color shifts. Its energy thins. Its presence remains. Even as photons stretch into wavelengths too long for eyes to see, they're still there. They still exist. They still move. The universe does not discard anything it has made. It allows everything to continue in some form. Light is the most faithful example of this kindness. It does not vanish when stars die. It does not disappear when observers are gone. It does not end when meaning fades. It continues anyway, somewhere unimaginably far away, or perhaps nowhere at all. Light from the earliest stars is still moving. Those stars lived briefly. They burned fast. They vanished long ago. But their light has outlived them by billions of years. It carries no awareness of loss. It carries no memory of ending. It simply moves. And so, the universe keeps its past alive without effort. Not preserved in monuments or records, but spread gently across space. Memory becomes motion. Nothing is trapped in a single place. Everything is allowed to drift. As you rest now, let this idea feel comforting. There is no final moment where everything stops. There is no abrupt silence waiting at the end of time. There is only quiet continuation. Even when structures dissolve, even when energy thins, even when distances become so vast that connections fade, light still moves. The universe does not shut down, it settles. And settling is not the same as ending. Light years stretch longer, journeys grow quieter, but motion remains. This final quiet journey of light is not sad. It is not lonely. It is peaceful. There is no pressure to arrive, no urgency to be seen, no requirement to matter. Existence is enough. This is something the universe understands deeply. That is why it allows light to travel forever, even when there is nothing left to reach. That is why it allows moments to drift outward, becoming part of something larger than any destination. And that is why, tonight, you do not need to hold on to your thoughts. You do not need to follow every idea to its conclusion. You do not need to solve anything before rest arrives. Light does not solve its journey. It simply continues it. You're allowed to do the same. As your breathing slows even further, imagine your awareness becoming lighter, not floating away, just loosening its grip. Let thoughts stretch and thin like light waves traveling through expanding space. Nothing is lost. Nothing is forced. Nothing needs to arrive. The universe has already shown you how to rest, by moving without urgency, by allowing distance, by letting time stretch. Light is still traveling now. It always will be, carrying the quiet proof that existence does not need endings to be complete. And as sleep approaches, you can trust this. The universe will keep going without your attention. Light will keep moving without your effort. Time will keep unfolding without your worry. You can close your eyes. Everything important is already on its way.